one, and that is 3,300 feet that our rock climbers do take for granted. And you notice the bad jokes come out a mile after you leave the lodge. Ha! Now you're stuck with me. This wall up here is known as the North American Wall. When this rock cooled deep underground, it fractured, and a darker magma injected into it, sealed it like a mortar, and it does look like a map of North America when you get up a little closer. You got Baja going up into California, Oregon, and Washington, and you can cross on over to the East Coast. And it's pretty thematic to that. You can climb the Pacific Ocean. And anybody here ever driven the Jersey Turnpike? Yeah. We got a Jersey Turnpike going up our East Coast too. You don't need to bring no quarters though, no toll booths. Toll isn't sweat, that's for sure. I'm going to bounce you folks on over here to the left because we're going to have a great view of the cathedral spires and the cathedral rocks. Going across Slaughterhouse Meadow over here. Of course, no stretch of the imagination how this place got its name. This is where the pioneers kept the goat, sheep, and cattle for consumption, and they also plowed this meadow for meat and hay. And we learned a lot about soil ecology and how fragile it is that every time we compressed it, it dried out, allowing all these big pine trees to come on in. In fact, you guys see all those big pine trees towards the back there? Those weren't there when I first started working here 6 years ago. That's how fast the meadow can dry up and pine trees can move in. Bouncing you over here back to the right. Find North America there. Come on down to where Baja or the Caribbean would be. You'll see an overhang with 3 black stripes. To get a sense of scale for this cliff, do y'all see the tree that's in the underhang with the 3 black stripes that's partially shaded? That tree is about the size of these taller trees around here on the valley floor. So that'll give you a sense of scale that these rock climbers are going to look itty bitty while they're up there. We'll try to find you some. It's been hot the last couple of days, so we haven't had that many climbers on the wall because there's not much shade, as you can see. This front feature right here is known. Oh, we have some climbers on the wall. I can see them from here. We'll get a better view on the other side. This one here is known as the Nose of El Capitan, and it was one of the first routes put up in the late 1950s by a group of rock gods. They had 2 passions in life. One of them was rock climbing. And the second one, well, it was the reason why it took over 44 days throughout the course of a year to make it to the top. Well, one, they were hand fashioning all their own equipment. You got the pot-belly stoves, car axles, 2x4s, and whatnot. And number 2, well, the second passion. When they ran out of that, they rolled right off that wall. And, well, some of you came behind that climbing passion, but maybe some of you would have enjoyed the second passion. They would take up 5 gallons of wine, and when they were out of the wine, they were out of climbing time. So they'd come back up, down to get some more wine. 30 years later, a true rock goddess, her name was Lid Hill, she made it in a day. And we have the Need for Speed in Yosemite. How fast do you think you can go up 3,300 feet? Scream it out, how fast?
4 hours and 40
8 hours, 4 hours?
2 hours and 40 minutes.
2 hours, 40 minutes, you cheated. It's under 3 hours, yeah. It's just amazing. Well, those men have climbed this route many, many times, and was one climber's going up, the second climber is in tandem removing the gear. So the first guy's placing the gear, the second guy's removing the gear. Once again, the spires and cathedral rocks. Well, it takes your average rock climber about 4, possibly 5 days to make it to the top, and when they get to the top, they'll head over to the right-hand side where there's a series of rappels that bring them back down to the valley floor. And they're going to take every single thing up there with them. And what do you think the most important thing they're taking up there is? Very good. 1 gallon per person per day. Now, what do you think the most important muscle those kids up there are using? That's kind of a trick question. It's your brains. It's a thinking sport. It really is a thinking sport. You really want to know where you're placing your equipment and how you're placing yourself. Now, unlike hikers that carry everything on their backs, rock climbers use their whole body to finesse their way up the rocks. So what they'll do is put their gear in a haul bag, and they'll climb up to a safe spot and then haul their equipment on up to them. And this goes over and over until they go to the top. A lot of those ledges that you see up there are so large that we could park clearly a couple of trams on them. Some of them are so small you couldn't even park your rear end on them. And then sometimes those climbers are standing on nothing more than just the width of a dime. Could you just imagine being 2,000 feet up, just towing a dime there? And, well, a lot of climbers don't like sleeping on those ledges because if weather comes through, they're not protected. So they'll bring out their own ledge. It's known as a portaledge. And what that does is they anchor it to the wall. It kind of pops down like a glorified hammock, and it's the size of a picnic table. So if you want to get the feeling of sleeping on the wall, just go to a picnic area and hang out on one of those tables. Now, we do have a group of climbers, and they're very tiny, and they're about halfway up. Now, the best way for me to describe it is looking almost towards the top. Do you folks see a crack system that looks like a martini glass or a golf tee?
Yeah.
It's more than about a third of the way up, and the top part of the martini glass or / golf tee is shaded. If you drop down to the base of that martini glass or golf tee, you'll see a white, almost horizontal line. Going to the right-hand side, it's dipping down just slightly.
Yeah.
Just where it starts to dip down past that shaded area, go up just a tiny bit, and you see a couple of climbers hanging up there. Now, once again, folks, we got some folks down low, too. If you can see this side of the trees, where down low in the trees where the crack system is kind of going like a sickle to the left, there's a group down there. Let's see where else can we find some folks. So for the main ones that everybody can see, if you go to the where almost, where you see the white, almost horizontal lines. Are you guys catching the white, almost horizontal lines? About midway, a third of the way, or 3/4 of the way up. Yeah, the top line is going to the right, and it drops down just slightly. Right where it just drops down slightly, next to the shade on the left is a group of climbers. And those guys got probably about another 2 days to go before they're off the rocks.